The greatest stories in history were told in Greek mythology. Breaking out gods and heroes, amazing feats. Listen and you'll see it's Breaking Out.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Trek on Tuesday. We are so excited to be joined. This is the third time we've had these two real-life authors. This is who I want to be when I grow up, folks. Kenny Curtis and Jillian Hughes are joining us today. How are you guys doing today?
We are great, and we're in the same place this time.
Longtime viewers of Trek on Tuesday might know we've had them on before. They are a father-daughter writing team, and they have just published the third book in the Greeking Out series. Hold it up again, guys, so we can see it. It's called Greeking Out, Tales from the Underworld. This is book 3 in the series. The first 2 times they joined us, they were in different locations. I was thrilled when they logged on here a few minutes ago to see them together. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We are going to talk all about the new book. Maybe most importantly for our viewers, we are going to give away 3 copies of the book today at around 10-minute intervals or so. All you have to do to enter for a chance to win is comment. Wendy, for example, from Elgin, Illinois, Troop 38 and Pack 38. Wendy, you have entered to win a copy of Greeking Out, Tales from the Underworld.
Wendy!
It's a great series of books, first of all, but it's also a great story of how Kenny and Jillian made it happen. It originated with a podcast. Who wants to just, can you take us through sort of the origin story of these books and how they came about, guys?
Sure. The books are, the Greeking Out book series is from the podcast, which was originally from a book.
Mm-hmm.
Going way back to we've come full circle. There was a book series from National Geographic Kids written by a great author named Crispin Boyer called Zeus the Mighty. And it was about animals in a pet shop in Olympia, Georgia. And these books are still out there, and they're so much fun to read. You should check them out. But in that book series, the animals in the pet shop think they're Greek gods. A hamster thinks he's Zeus. A pufferfish thinks he's Poseidon. And they think this because the owner listens to a podcast called Greeking Out. The marketing team at National Geographic said, we should make that podcast. That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. So they came to us. We started making the podcast. And now the podcast has taken on a life of its own. We're just about to be in our 12th season. And so the podcast that was inspired by a book has now inspired its own book series. And we're on book 3. First 2 were New York Times bestsellers, and we're hoping this one is the same.
And today is launch day.
It is launch day. It's book birthday.
Today is book birthday. That's congratulations. First of all, that's so exciting. Shout out to our good friends at Nat Geo Kids. We love those folks there, and we love that they provide you guys to come on and talk with us here. Every time you have a new book out, the first book is called simply Greeking Out. The second book is called Greeking Out, Heroes and Olympians. The third book out today, Greeking Out, Tales from the Underworld. It's available wherever books are sold. And by the way, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, we're giving away free copies today. All you have to do is comment for a chance to win. You can tag a friend. You can give a shout out to Kenny or Jillian, whoever you want to do. Just let us know that you're watching. We also have, there's an excerpt of the book that you folks can read on the Scout Life website. Behind the scenes, Brian. Behind the scenes, Brian's always on time, guys. Right on time.
Yes, Brian.
There's the link that you guys can read an excerpt. These books are really, really fun. I think appropriate for kids of just about all ages, maybe ages 8 to 12 is kind of what we say. Cub Scout age for those of you in our world, in the Cub Scout age world. This book is maybe a little bit spookier. We talked about this earlier. It is coming out in October. Is this book scary? Would you guys consider this to be a scary book?
I wouldn't consider it to be scary, but it's definitely got a Halloween vibe. I mean, what is it? You can't have Hades on the cover without it having a Halloween vibe. And it is called Tales from the Underworld because it's 20 different underworld tales from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but all the stories in our previous 2 books, Greek mythology in general, has a lot of monsters. It has a lot of spooky, weird material to work with anyway. So it is similar to our other books in that they can be a little scary, but we try to tell it in a funny, relatable way that kind of dials down the scary factor.
And I want to talk a little bit later about the illustrations, the sort of the humor and the jokes that are in the book. That's all very, very cool and very, very fun. But this book, like the two books before it, are based on myths that have been around for many years. I'm just curious. You've got a lot of material to choose from. Do you guys have particular favorite ones for in this book? It's, by the way, the book is, I should say, is a collection of stories, right? It's not one long, a collection of stories based on these myths. Do either of you have a favorite myth from this new book that you can maybe tell us about real quick?
Yeah, well, I did want to point out, this is the first book. The third book is the first time that we're talking about myths from around the world, not just ancient Greece. So we've expanded. There are, I think, 5 Greek myths in here, and then the rest are from different mythologies.
Yeah,
we have
5 or 6.
Yeah, we have Norse and Chinese mythology.
Aztec mythology.
Yeah, like all over. So that's been really fun to get to explore different areas. And it's neat to see the different like themes in these myths, but then how they all kind of are very similar at the end of the day too. It's been an interesting study. But I think my favorite in this one, it's a Japanese myth. It's called The World's Worst Love Story. And yeah, it's about a married couple that I don't want to spoil it, but they get into it. One of them ends up in the underworld, and it's just one of those funny stories that make you laugh, but also kind of gross you out at the same time. So that's a good one. That's actually the last.
One of them
story.
ends up in the underworld. Hilarity ensues. I imagine that sounds like my kind of story.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite, Kenny?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. These stories aren't all spooky stories. There's actually romance and love. So they all just have to do with the underworld in some way, which is perfect for Halloween. I think I love the Greek myth that we do about Artemis and Orion. And again, this isn't really about the underworld. This is about Orion becoming the famous constellation and how Artemis, the pure goddess, actually fell in love with somebody. And it's a sweet and bittersweet story. I think one of the ones that always sticks with me is Tano's Race with Death. It's an African story about the relationship between the god of war and the god of death and why they are sort of tied together. And it's just, it's been such a joy, but a labor of love to really research these stories that come from different cultures all around the world. And it's the kind of thing that really only National Geographic could do because they have access to so many experts that can help guide us as we go through this process.
Yeah, what a great partnership. Again, shout out to our friends at National Geographic, Nat Geo Kids. I kind of feel like, yeah, they've got the researchers. You guys provide sort of the talent, the writing, the sense of humor. I do want to talk about the jokes. We exchanged some emails on this earlier. Some people might call them corny. I don't know. I mean, to me, they're great. Some people would call them dad jokes as if that's a bad thing. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. Kenny, does that come from you? It's just a guess.
No comment. But I mean, it doesn't take you don't have to be a detective to figure that one out.
But unfortunately, the dad joke gene was inherited. So I can write a dad joke like the best of them. But I will say that what ends up in this book has been heavily edited. There were way more worse jokes that got cut before this final version came out.
I don't think they were all worse. I love them all.
I mean,
we couldn't fit them all in. So
yeah, Jillian, you said in one of your emails that thank you, readers, to Jillian for trimming down the dad jokes a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, all writers need a good editor, Kenny. It's just
that's very true.
Yes, I edit him, and then our real editor has to edit it even more. So yeah, it's a lot.
Yes. Shout out to Katie Moore and all of her great work.
Okay, awesome. Yes. Shout out to Katie for sure. Again, we are talking about the latest book in the Greeking Out series. It's called Tales from the Underworld, available for sale today. Now, go to your local bookstore, order it online, go to your local library, wherever you get books. We are also on the verge, just a minute or so away from giving away our first of 3 free copies. Rebecca from Pack 273, Pierre, South Dakota, has been entered to win. Our good friend Rusty's a longtime viewer from New Philadelphia, Ohio. You've been entered to win it as well. Michelle says 2 of her 3 scouts love Greek mythology. Well, what's wrong with the 3rd scout? We got to figure out what's going on there. But 2 out of 3 is not too bad. Hashtag thanks Percy Jackson. That's a great comment there because these myths we've talked about this before. It continues to be fascinating to me, and I'm much more closer to Kenny's age than Jillian's. But these, the idea that these stories have been around for so long and they've inspired so many of the other stories that we know. What is up with that? Who can tell me what is the deal? Why are these stories so meaningful to us, right? After all these years.
It's funny that you mentioned Percy Jackson. Rick Riordan actually was a guest host, filling in for the Oracle of Wi-Fi on the second episode of our podcast.
Big time,
and,
big time.
Yeah, and he was great, and it lended so much legitimacy to what we were doing. But I think it's a perfect indication that there is a love for these characters and these stories, and I think part of the reason is, it was certainly for kids, you've sort of seen these characters before. They are the original archetypes for a lot of the characters in movies and pop culture today. And these are the OG versions of, Hades is the OG Darth Vader, the Argonauts are the OG Avengers, you can say that in a lot. So there's certainly a comparison there that I think it makes it a little bit more accessible.
Yeah, that is awesome. Shout out to Don from St. Louis, Carlos from Edinburgh, Texas. My friend Rob is watching. He says, I love mythology stories. I do too, Rob. There's something going on there. Rob is around the same age as me. We grew up around the same era, and I bet with the same type of stories. It is time to give away our first copy of Greeking Out, Tales from the Underworld. It is the third in the series. But correct me if I'm wrong, guys. You don't have to read them in order necessarily, right? You can dive in at any point. And as a matter of fact, you don't even have to read the stories within the books in order, right? You can dive in at any point. I'm gonna call up our random comment picker real quick, guys, and announce our first winner. Thank you for that, Kenny. Michelle, congratulations, Michelle Chiodo Stone. You have won a copy of Greeking Out, Tales from the Underworld. Check your inbox for messages. We will reach out to you, get your address, and send you a copy. We have 2 more books to give away here in the next 18, 20 minutes or so. All you have to do to enter for a chance to win is comment. If you have a question for me or for our esteemed guest, or you can tag a friend, you can do whatever you want. You can just say hi. Some folks in the comments just like to say hi, and we love it. We'll say hi right back to you. I want to talk about the father-daughter aspect of this. I love the fact that you guys work together. I have a daughter. I can't imagine working on a project with her for years and years and years. What is that process like? Who does what? How does that work out, guys?
I don't know that I can actually explain how it works. I really don't, because we are very similar in a lot of ways. But I think the ideas come naturally from easy conversation that we have, because we have such a close relationship. We just have these conversations. It's sort of like, what if we did this, or what if we did this? Just, it might be a conversation you might have with your spouse about redoing the kitchen or something, and you're just kicking around ideas. Or this is even easier because it's all pie in the sky daydream, so it's a fun game that you're sort of playing. I feel like sometimes we're sort of playing a game together. But I love it. This is my baby girl, and she's pushing it, and she's a great writer. She's definitely the better of the 2 writers. She's probably the best writer I know. So
you're not biased. You're not biased or anything. It's fine.
No, I'm not biased. She is the best writer I know. But I think that makes it easier for me. I would imagine working with your dad comes with a few different.
I'm sure, Jillian. It's just an absolute pleasure. No complaints, right?
No, it is really fun, and I mean that's the best part, is that we are so close that it's like, even if we get on each other's nerves, I can be like, all right, I need a break from you. Like, we're just so honest with each other, and know that we've got each other's back no matter what. That I think it makes us work a lot more efficiently, because we're not really tiptoeing around. Or maybe that's
I think it is funny, but it's not I don't think it is. This occurs to me now, and I'm just thinking of this while I'm talking, like I tend to do, but it isn't a working relationship. It's still a father and daughter relationship. I think that's why it works, because we're still just
Yeah. For better or worse, there's no real boundaries. So
Yes, that's it.
But it's actually probably worse for the rest of the family that just hear us talk about Greek mythology all the time.
Right.
Are they ever like, can you just talk about something else for crying out loud?
And we will start, we'll be talking about, I don't know, the Ravens football or something, and then somehow we'll be back.
You know who loved ravens were the ancient Greeks or something along those lines.
Exactly. The original raven was actually white until he was Apollo's pet, and then he saw Apollo's girlfriend, and it was bad, and Apollo got so upset that he scorched him.
Our brother's like, could we please stop talking about mythology?
There are so many stories. Jillian, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you told us before that your dad used to tell you stories when you were little.
Yes.
Did that kind of inspire your interest in these kind of things?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, for definitely, like, he's definitely the reason that I'm a writer. And that's just always been part of our relationship and just our whole family, really, telling stories and, whether that's books and writing our own stories or, movies or TV shows, we're just very much in that storytelling vein. And these characters are so great. And that's what makes it really fun to work on this particular project, is that we have these characters that are already in existence. Homer and all the rest of them already did the work of developing the stories. We're just sort of repackaging them for a kid audience and making them, dare I say, a little more fun than the original versions, adding in our, dad jokes. But it's just fun to get to play around with these characters and really bring them to life to a new generation.
Yeah. Shout out to our people watching: Sarah, Daniel, Cindy, Mark. All of you have been entered to win a copy of the latest book in the Greeking Out series. It's called Tales from the Underworld. It is on sale as of today. We have 2 more copies to give away free here in the next 12 or 13 minutes or so. Shout out to Wolfgang, who's joining us from Germany. We do have some international viewers, folks. So thank you, Wolfgang. I don't know what time it is in Germany, but I hope you're not up too late. Yeah, these stories, again, like we said before, a timeless appeal. When I was a kid in the 70s, I remember reading kind of probably what most kids today would find as boring, almost encyclopedia type books about these stories. The Greeking Out series is not that at all. It is a really full color, fun, vibrant. We got to give a shout out to your illustrator. Can we talk about that real quick?
Oh, Javier Espila, in Spain. Does he live in Madrid?
I think Madrid. Yeah.
I think he's in Madrid. We have never met Javier. We have swapped emails. He's a wonderful person. He is so gracious. But I'm telling you, these illustrations, he's outdone himself. I think this is my favorite book. These are my favorite illustrations that he's done. They're so great. Yeah.
I think it's so important for this book in particular with the underworld theme. The pictures just show that it's not that scary, you know what I mean? Like, they kind of give off that humorous vibe, like, but yeah, he's just so, I mean, it's kind of weird how well he read our minds and got the tone and the humor of the podcast that we were going for. Like, we look at his stuff and we're like, no notes, this is perfect.
Right. I mean, here you go. Here's the illustration of I don't know if you can say it's kind of Larry.
That's the one.
But that's there you go. I mean, just so many different things.
It really does look amazing. I'm so jealous that you have an illustrator like that. Javier, is that his name? Is that right?
Javier Espila.
Javier, if you ever want to work for Scout Life, send us a note. We're interested because it's very, very cool. Yeah. And by the way, you can read an example, an excerpt from the book on the Scout Life website right now. It's under our fiction section. Go there to read. There you go. Thank you, Behind the Scenes, Brian. Once again, right on cue, you can go there to read one of the chapters from Greeking Out, Tales from the Underworld. Kenny, you were sort of presenting us with a fast fact about ravens there. Anything, I wonder, do you have like a favorite tidbit like that or a fact like that?
There's so many good ones.
A lot of them, right?
Yeah, the book starts with a joke about what this is called. So we'll get into that later. That's another gadget. Maybe I'll tell you that later. But in typical National Geographic kids style, there are 2-page spreads that are nonfiction entirely. And one of them is called How to Get into the Underworld Without Really Trying. And it's a list of places all around the world, since these are myths from around the world, that people actually believe were portals or entrances to the underworld. There's a volcano in Hekla, Iceland, that people thought it erupted so often, they actually thought that it was a portal or an entrance to the underworld. And then there are 2 different places in Italy, and one of them is on the floor of the Forum, right in the middle of Rome, that they actually thought there was a lake under there, and that's where you could actually enter the underworld. It's really cool.
That is awesome. Very, very cool. I think it's time to give away book number 2. This is Greeking Out Tales from the Underworld. Everybody who has commented so far has been entered for a chance to win. I'm going to run our random comment picker here in the side real quick. And the winner of book number 2 is, thank you for the illustration there, Sarah Winston Watchrose. Congratulations. You have earned yourself a free copy, by the way, of Greeking Out Tales from the Underworld. You know, they're kind of slightly spookier stories, as we mentioned earlier, but I'm just going to go ahead and say also, it's not too early to think about a Christmas gift, maybe, right, for our holiday gift for the young reader in your life. There's nothing that says you can't finish your holiday shopping on October 7th, and you've already got that gift knocked out. Check your inbox there, Sarah, for your, Sarah says, thank you. You are welcome, Sarah. Check your inbox. We'll be reaching out to you to get your information. We have one more book to give away in the next 8 to 9 minutes or so. David, you're entered to win. Don, you're entered to win. Everybody who has commented so far is entered to win. It's always a thrill to talk with you guys. I want to get back, and again, I'm kind of this is an Aaron thing, because I just can't get over how appealing these stories are. Can you maybe, either one of you, give us an example of a modern story that people know of that, you know, when you think about it, really is kind of a retelling of an old myth? Someone mentioned Percy Jackson earlier. That's pretty literally myth, names and characters and everything. But I don't know. What do you guys think? You mentioned I think the Avengers maybe a little bit.
Yeah. The superheroes are very
superheroes in general, you think? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
a little bit. Yeah.
It's not necessarily the stories entirely, although I think there are some. The Odyssey has been borrowed so many times. I mean,
that is the literal hero's journey.
Yeah. Oh, brother, where art thou? Was literally, like, there are a lot of movies that are literally retelling the story of the Odyssey for grown-ups mostly. But I think, again, like the Avengers, it's more the characters and the archetypes, the big, ideas of these characters that were borrowed from Greek mythology. I mean, that's what the Argonauts were. All of the big Greek heroes, Perseus, Theseus, Heracles are all on the same boat, Orpheus, all together going on the same adventure. So that idea, I think when the Marvel comic people were writing these things, they're like, hey, what if we put together a team? Wouldn't it be cool to have these guys doing it together? Back, Aaron, when you and I were reading comic books, there were actually, small illustrated magazines.
I remember that.
But yeah, I think that may have been, I can't speak for Stan Lee, but that may have been where they drew inspiration. Right. I certainly know that Superman, there was a whole lot of inspiration from mythology. I've read that years ago.
There's a lot of like the Grim Reaper, the god of death. I feel like we see that in different stories all the time, like death personified coming to take the person back. And we have that in this book. It's the Princess 1, Death 0, about a princess that refuses to let her husband die and go into the underworld and has a face off with actual death, the god of death. So yeah, I feel like you see that character of death, whether it's the Grim Reaper or something else. You see that time and time again in different movies and films.
You do.
Yeah, it is so interesting. It's almost like sort of subconsciously, it just resonates. You mentioned the hero's journey, Jillian. I think that's a phrase that some people in the writing world talk about it. A journey. It could be a psychological journey, but then the original hero's journey. It's sort of, nowadays it's basic storytelling 101. You have kind of a likable character. You challenge them a little bit. You put them in a tough situation. Oh my gosh, are they going to make it? And then usually at the end they make it, and it's okay. Not all the time, but they were so ahead of the time when they came up with these thousands of years ago. When they came up with just that concept, it's just mind blowing to me that they were able to do that. Are you ever going to run out of stories? You've 3 books so far. Are you done?
I don't think so, because especially when you think like a lot of the stories have different versions and are completely different from each other. That, there's just a lot. And if you take into account all of the mythologies across
Right.
the world. It's crazy. And like, to your point, there's so many of these stories from different mythologies and cultures that were created around the same time that did not, that there was no internet, right? They couldn't compare notes, and they're pretty much the same story, just with completely different characters and a different, cultural background. But it's crazy how that human need to create storytelling, there's a lot of similarities through there across cultures and time periods.
Yeah, that when I used to be a Cub Scout leader many years ago, guys, when my son was younger, and I used to tell the story about, there's something about going around a campfire at a Cub Scout camp out and telling stories, right?
Yeah.
There's just something about that, probably because human beings have been doing that for so long. Even now in the year 2025, when we do that, we're connecting with some sort of, I can't put it in words like you guys can, but we're connecting with something there, a universal truth that we're all connected to. It's really remarkable. Don in the comments says Harry Potter has many references.
Right.
I've never watched the TV show Wednesday. Don mentions the TV show Wednesday as a possibility. Yep. There's
a lot of pop culture there.
Yes. We have just a few more minutes with Kenny and Jillian, authors of the Greeking Out book series. Want to encourage everybody, if you haven't already, check out the podcast. Definitely worth listening to. You guys both work on the podcast as well. Is that right?
Yeah. I host the podcast. Jillian and I write the podcast together, which is where we get the inspiration for the stories. And some of the stories that you've read in the books have become or were episodes of the podcast. Mm-hmm. So we usually can flesh it out a little bit more in the podcast because we have more time to talk. We don't have a finite number of pages. So we have an opportunity to get into a little bit more detail in the podcast itself. But yeah, the season 12 of the podcast is actually coming out, I believe, next week. And it's available on the National Geographic Kids YouTube. So if you go to Nat Geo Kids YouTube or you go to YouTube, we also recommend, if you're a podcast fan, if you just like the podcast, you can experience this through YouTube Music. You can get, and then it's just like listening to a regular podcast. There's not even any visuals, and you don't have to worry about the screen going dark or any of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah. It's a great way to get.
Speaking of things that are still popular, podcasts, extremely popular. So yes, definitely check out the Greeking Out podcast. I have just a couple more questions for you guys. What is the Oracle of Wi-Fi?
That's a great question. It's sort of a sidekick, right? It started, again, the idea of the Oracle of Wi-Fi was a way to bring Nat Geo's margin comments to life. Because in all the Nat Geo books, they're always really funny, clever, quippy margin comments.
They're so good at that.
So, right. Ironically, the Oracle of Wi-Fi has gone back to being margin comments in the book series.
Another full circle.
To bring that to life in a podcast, we decided to have an ALEXA, I can't say it out loud or it might interrupt us, type, voice that would chime in with fact corrections. But that, thanks largely to Jillian's writing, has that character has developed a voice of their own and a love of snakes. And it has become a full-on co-host with point of view and character.
Awesome. That's so fun and cool. Definitely makes part of what makes the podcast worth checking out. The books as well. Lisa says they're going to add that podcast so they can listen to it with their kids. I think it's a great thing to listen to with your kids, right? On a road trip, maybe just something like that. You might be traveling to see some family this holiday season. Shout out to Tina and Kim. You guys have both been entered. We're just a minute or two away from giving away our final copy of Greeking Out, Tales from the Underworld. This is the third book in the series. We've been so fortunate to have Kenny and Jillian on with us, both the first book and the second book, now the third book. I hope we get to have you on for a fourth book. I don't know. Can you confirm? Is there going to be a fourth book?
Yeah, there's going to be a fourth book. Yeah, we can say that. There's going to be, we don't know exactly when, but we know we have worked on it and it's going to be, I can't tell. I can't give too much away. You'll like it.
It's coming.
Yes.
That is so.
When it does come, we'll be here for
that.
Yes, that is so cool. Yeah, tell your bosses to make sure, call us. We want to have you on before the fourth, or when the fourth book comes out. I can't believe we're actually have them on today as release day. It's birthday, book birthday day.
Yay.
The book is actually out today. You can find it wherever books are sold. You can, of course, buy it online. I like to encourage folks to go to their library and check it out from their local library. It's available as an ebook, I think, right? It's available in just about any format you want to get it in. encourage everyone to check it out. Guys, before we give away our final copy, anything else you want to say about Greeking Out, Tales from the Underworld? Anything we haven't talked about that you would like to communicate to our viewers?
You guys are the best. If you are even remotely into Greek mythology, check out Greeking Out. Don't forget, the podcast is also available just as a podcast. The first 11 seasons are available wherever you get your podcasts, and the new ones are on YouTube and YouTube Kids. And the books.
Yeah.
Thank you. Share and enjoy.
11 seasons. Congratulations to both of you. That's exciting. Book 3. Congratulations also to both of you for that. And advanced congratulations on book 4, which we can't wait to talk about next year or whenever that comes up. But before we let you two go, I'm going to give away one more copy if you're okay with it. Breaking Out Tales from the Underworld. Let me just punch in my random comment picker again. And the winner is, I love it. Thank you too. And the winner is Don. Congratulations, Don. All you had to do was just share a little random thought about Harry Potter. And look at that. You just got yourself a free copy of the book. Check your inbox. We will be getting your information to mail the book to you. Thank you so much again, Kenny and Jillian. It's always a pleasure to have you on our show. The book is called Greeking Out, Tales from the Underworld. You can read an excerpt on Scout Life magazine. Thank you, behind the scenes, Brian. We're very excited to partner again with National Geographic Kids, and they are always so nice to provide Kenny and Jillian on our show. So good to see you guys again. Thanks for your time today. I know you have a big event tonight. Good luck. Good luck with the rest of the book, and I hope to see you next year.
Aaron, you're the best. Thank you all.
Yeah,
Brian, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks to both of you for watching. Thanks to you for watching at home. We appreciate it. Bye, everybody. Bye, Kenny. Bye, Jillian.
Bye.
Bye. See you later.